Well, today is really a special show. It's a very important show that we want to bring to you today, and it's all about the gun buyback that was done in 2 days in the last 10 days in February here, and we want to show you the results of that buyback, and we want to tell you a little bit about how it began and how it came to this point and how we're going to do it again. So all those things we want to bring up. I have Director Fred Harran with me. Certainly the police department ran all of this to make sure that they collected this safely. There was many policemen that were at the scene here to make sure that this was totally done the way it was supposed to be done. And believe me, I was here a couple times, and it's amazing how they got it done. And it was done autonomously. Nobody knew anything that was going on.
No names taken, that's correct.
No names taken. And in the 2-day period, we got over 600 guns. To me, that's incredible. 600 guns that aren't here in Bensalem that people had in their homes. And I noticed, Fred, a lot of seniors came in.
Yep.
And most of them were with rifles.
Mm-hmm.
They were bringing them in. And as we talked to them, and I said, you know, why are you bringing them in? They said, we don't want them around our home anymore. We have no use, and we're afraid somebody, if they, God forbid, would break in, that they would steal those guns.
That's right.
So that was one big point. But we have many guns, and we're going to let, certainly Darren will scan. So why don't you tell us the scope of what was brought in? And the money, I want to talk about how we got funding to do this, and that's what held us up for quite a few months to do this. So why don't you start out by telling us about that?
Sure. Well, Mayor, you're right on. We got about 600 different guns, rifles, shotguns, handguns, semi-automatic weapons. We got a whole array of guns. But as you said, a lot of folks, there were a lot of seniors that had come in. But those guns, too, whether it be handguns or rifles, they're now off the street. And there's no chance of any of these guns. You have 600 guns that there's zero chance of them ever hurting a single person or being used in the commission of crime.
By the way, let me interrupt you for a minute. These guns are secured. We're in an evidence area that nobody can come into.
That's correct.
So I don't want anybody to think that these guns are just laying around somewhere. They're under absolute security, and they'll be melted down and whatever's going to be done.
Within about a week, we're going to be melting them down. They'll all be gone. But these guns, there's no way they could be used in the commission of a crime, and they can't accidentally hurt anybody. They can't be stolen out of anyone's house. And if anybody that was here saw the lines of people, and 600 guns is just a huge day, I think, for us. And as the mayor said, we're going to do it again probably in the fall, maybe September or October. We'll do another one and we'll announce it. We spent about $37,000, but what people need to know is, because I've seen some comments that it's taxpayer money. Not one penny was taxpayer money.
That's important.
It's very important. This was all paid for with the federal drug forfeiture program that we have going here. And basically what that is drug dealers' money that we get to confiscate and gets forfeited to us gets to be used for other law enforcement initiatives, such as a gun buyback. And as you alluded to, there was some holdup because you've been wanting me to do this about 3-4 months now. Once we started getting the plans in motion, we had to get permission from the federal government on utilizing the money for this expense. It was not one of the original expenses that the federal government outlined for the use of federal forfeiture money. But what's interesting, Mayor, is after we inquired to Washington, they sent out a flyer nationwide that now gun buyback programs are permissible use.
Again,
for drug money. Another first.
Way.
Yeah, another first.
I'm holding a couple of the pistols here, and I know Darren's going to go over and film everything that's in here. But just look at kind of stuff that's coming off the street.
This is not, rifles. These are automatic, semi-automatic handguns that could be used in robberies. They could be used to hurt somebody. They could be used accidentally to hurt someone. How many times we see accidental shootings? And for what this cost us, $37,000. If anybody's been in a hospital, in an emergency room, and you've had one surgery, it's easily $37,000. So it was well worth the investment. And the beautiful thing is, it didn't cost the taxpayers
Now here's a serious gun, one of the very serious guns. And look at this one.
That's a Tech 9.
Look at this. I mean, this is...
Doesn't get any worse than
no
that.
reason to be sitting around in anybody's home, I'll tell you that. If it were, and if it's legal, it should be locked in a safe where it's very secure. I'm looking at some of this stuff and kind of scary. You know.
It is scary that this stuff is out there, and this is the stuff that kills people. Most of the shootings that we see on television, a lot of those guns are obtained in legal ways, or they're taken out of people's homes or stolen from people's homes, and there's now 600 guns out there that won't be used. And it wasn't all about, you know, there were some naysayers that said, oh, it was rifles that nobody's been using. There's some rifles, but there's boxes and boxes of handguns and semi-automatic weapons. And if anybody doesn't think this was a good thing, I can't understand that.
Well, I think we're not telling people they got to give up their legal
of course
guns.
not.
Look, I believe that Second Amendment. I'm not going to, by any stretch, say every gun should be taken away. But people that don't want them and have an opportunity to get rid of them, this is the way to do it.
Not only that, Mayor, but we were giving away free gun locks as people were leaving, because we know there's other people that have guns at home, and we're just giving them away free gun locks, again, courtesy of different grants that we were able to obtain, not one tax dollar. And that offer continues today. If anybody ever needs a gun lock, just come to the Bensalem Township Police Department, and we're more than happy to give you a free gun lock.
Yeah,
2, 3 of them, doesn't matter.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't we do it at a Pride Day?
We gave away gun locks, I think,
Fall
maybe
Festival 1 year.
2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, not a bad idea if we can do it again. If you have a gun and you want to get rid of it, we're not doing a gun buyback right now, but the police will take the gun. I mean, there's no question. If it's something you feel it's unsafe, shouldn't be around, they could bring it to the police department.
Absolutely.
But we are going to do this again. I would say in September, October, we're going to do this gun buyback again, and hopefully I foresee that being super successful. People are starting to talk about it, that people that didn't know, and the word gets out there that we'll be able to do this. So again, if you want to get rid of a gun now, we won't buy it off you right now. We don't have that program. But if you want to get rid of it, the police will take it. Am I correct?
We'll always take it. And some people, we paid for a maximum of 3 guns. We didn't pay for more than that. And some people brought in more than that. And they just gave it in to get it out of their houses. I think also a lot of people didn't know what they could do with their old guns. Some people don't realize you can bring it to the police department and they'll get rid of it, no questions asked. Yeah. And we did. And the other thing I wanted to mention too, because they certainly stepped up to the plate, is Mike Kaplan, who lives here in Bensalem. Yeah. Mike is the owner of the comedy club, which works out of Georgine's in Bristol. And Mike donated, it was 164 tickets for 2. So it's really double that, over 300 tickets he gave out for the comedy show in Georgine's, which is a great, great show.
Well, I'm going to step out and I'm going to tell everybody, we can't give you any money, but if you come in with a gun, I'll make sure you get a ticket to go up to see the comedy show. We'll make sure we buy a ticket for them.
If we have to do that, we'll do that.
To go see. But we can't give any money until the program starts again in the fall. And if there's any questions, please, can certainly always call my office, but certainly down here to talk to the director of the police department. If you have any questions at all about the gun buyback that we had and the one we're going to look forward to in the future in September, October. Do you have anything to add? You had the last word.
The picture speaks volumes, and there's a lot of guns that aren't on the street anymore. I don't know what
incredible.
Else to say.
I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big, just rifles, full of rifles, and then all these boxes with pistols. Incredible. So anyway, we tried to bring as much information about that as we can. It's a great project. We'll continue it. Till next time, everybody, God bless.